Live from Augusta, we're watching News 1226 at 11.
Tonight, President Biden is ordering flags to be lowered to half staff at the White House for victims of the mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine. And tonight, there is a multi-state search for a U.S. Army reservist who police say shot and killed 18 people in a bowling alley and bar.
State officials there ordering people across southern Maine to shelter in place right now. Mike Sullivan is in the city of Lewiston with the latest on this massive manhunt.
Armed agents surrounded a home belonging to 40-year-old Robert Card, the prime suspect in Wednesday night's shooting at a bowling alley and a restaurant in Lewiston, Maine. Over a bullhorn, they shouted, "We know you're inside, come out with your hands up." But Maine Department of Public Safety says that's a standard search warrant announcement.
He should be considered armed and dangerous.
Police say Card walked into the bowling alley with an AR-style weapon and opened fire, killing 7.
We have an active shooter. We have multiple injuries.
He then traveled to a nearby restaurant and killed another 8. 3 victims later died at the hospital.
What makes this crime so heinous is in a typical year, Maine might have 22 murders, and last night we almost approached the number for the entire year.
As of today, there were at least 8 people still recovering here at Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. 3 are listed in critical condition. Card is an Army reservist who was hospitalized this summer for mental issues, including hearing voices. Card's cousin, Michael Mercia.
He's got a lot of problems up in his head right now. One of them's schizophrenic.
Investigators recovered this car registered to Card, abandoned near a boat launch in a nearby town. Police say he owns several weapons and is an expert marksman and avid outdoorsman.
Law enforcement intelligence officials also say the suspect's girlfriend recently broke up with him.
They're calling it a significantly destabilizing event, but say the exact motive for Wednesday's shooting is unclear. New at 11, a dog has died after an apartment fire in Augusta. This is the scene on Walden Drive a little earlier tonight, around 9. When we got there, they had already put the fire out and managed to contain those flames, but fire officials say 6 apartments were affected. They say a family of 4 was able to get out with 1 dog, but another dog did die inside. The streets temporarily been blocked off because they're still investigating how that fire started. We're taking a live look at I-20 eastbound, where there is a lane closure for the bridge replacement project at the state line. You can see some blue lights there as they shut down that lane of traffic. GDOT says it's expected to be wrapped up by 7 tomorrow morning.
Should be a good night for that overnight work, Riley.
Yeah, looking good most of tonight. The only worry is that
tonight we're following a developing investigation into foster care issues here in Georgia. Senator Ossoff publicly addressing those for the first time yesterday.
Foster care agency Wrdw says they're not getting nearly as many parents anymore to help foster kids since COVID. Wrdw has seen a 50% drop in families interested in fostering since then. Audrey Dickerber is live in the newsroom. So Audrey, what are we seeing here locally with kids in care?
11,000 kids are in care in the state of Georgia. 421 of those kids are in Columbia and Richmond County. Many of those children have been sleeping in offices or hotels across the state because they have nowhere else to go. So what do you do in order to help these children? One local foster care agency says there needs to be more people stepping up to foster.
We live in a very fast-paced society where it's very inward-focused. It's very easy just to go, go, go. Let me do this, this, this. And oftentimes I feel like we miss these people around us in need.
Over the last 3 years, Wrdw has been working with 39 foster homes around Augusta, and the number of kids needing help across the state is increasing.
We need people to be foster parents now more than ever for a number of reasons. Unfortunately, the number in care is starting to trend upwards, but at the same time, the number of people that are inquiring about fostering has trended significantly downwards since the pandemic.
More than 2/3 of children in foster care are there after being neglected.
I often hear people say, aren't you afraid of getting too attached? And the idea of me getting too attached to a child is far less scary to me than the child never experiencing that attachment.
But support isn't provided just for the kids.
There's such a need for it, and I think there's a lot of people who are just a little nervous to do it. And what I would say to those people is you're going to have the support, you're going to have the training, you're going to have all the things that you need to be successful as long as you can love well.
She says sometimes it's about just being there for what the child needs.
Being able to take her on adventures or letting her spend time with our family and just seeing her face light up. It's like no other. And so I just wish people could look past the daunting idea of foster care that people have in their heads and realize that it's very rewarding and these kids really need it.
Wrdw says there is training for the parents before and after a child is in their care, and case managers meet with them on a regular basis to ensure the child's safety. For more information on how to become a foster parent, visit wrdw.com.
And she's a great example of what a foster mom should be right there.
It really gives you some things to think about. Thanks for sharing their stories, Audrey.
Senator Ossoff has been investigating also World War II to today's technology. The ceremony is open to DoD ID card holders and invited guests. It'll also be streaming at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
A child is at the burn center after receiving burns from a barrel fire in North Augusta today. Officials say it happened on Hutchinson Drive near North Augusta Middle around 1 o'clock. First responders say the child was playing in the backyard when he set fire to the trash using gasoline. We're working to learn about how that child is doing, how old they are, and how severe those injuries are. The owner of the dogs who attacked Justin Gilstrap has pleaded guilty to reckless conduct. Burt Baker, who had been out on bond, entered a so-called blind plea, meaning there are no sentencing recommendations. Back in January, Justin was riding his bike near his house when the dogs attacked him. Justin lost most of his scalp. He had to go through several surgeries, and his family sued Baker. They also sued Columbia County. Baker is now facing a year probation for that misdemeanor. He's also not allowed to have any dogs for a year, no contact with Justin or his family, serve 40 hours of community service, remain employed, and pay some fines.
An Allendale man pleading guilty to obstructing the investigation into the 2019 murder of a transgender woman. Court documents say Xavier Pinckney provided false information to authorities investigating the murder of LaDime Doe. Pinckney admitted to using his phone to call and text Doe the day she was killed and then lied about seeing Wrdw, who allegedly shot Doe. Doe is found dead in a car off Highway 278. Pinckney faces a maximum now of 20 years in prison.
This month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and data shows cases are on the rise, including here at home. Over the last 10 years, there's been a 42% increase in deaths from domestic violence in Georgia. Earlier tonight, organizations in Augusta were spreading awareness like Safe Homes, the Solicitor's Office, and Georgia Legal Services. We spoke with Richmond County Solicitor about what they want to do and how they want to be able to provide resources needed so people can get help.
Reality is it affects everybody across the line, and you're right, we have seen some increases in the numbers of domestic violence cases, not only in the number of cases but the severity of the cases. I mean, some of them have ended in murder, and so we want to bring the awareness to the community.
So a great resource event there, and she says throughout the year they provide resources for people at the courthouse in downtown Augusta as well.
On both sides of the river, our college.
Well, this was my first Under the Lights in the studio, and it was awesome. I loved it. And another thing that I love, this forecast. I'll let you know about that coming up soon.
And still ahead, we're hearing from neighbors at an Augusta apartment complex picking up the pieces now after a fire last night. And people across Maine breathing a sigh of relief right now after a suspected mass killer is found dead.
It's back. See your local GMC dealer. Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Emily Acton.
Well, we had great weather for our Friday night football. We also had the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee out there this evening. Great weather all around. This weather's going to continue for the next couple of days. Right now, sitting right around 60, so things are still pretty warm. We'll cool off, though, into the 50s overnight, but if you have some trick-or-treating plans, things are looking dry, and I think there's a little bit of rain popping up behind me, but rest assured, we're going to be dry throughout the weekend. I know maybe there's some trunk or treats. Halloween's not till Tuesday, but some people want to get those festivities started a little bit earlier. So we'll be in those 60s by 9 p.m., 10 p.m. We'll be in those low 60s. But hey, that's only going to last for a little while longer. That's actually going to end up being our high temperature once we get to Wednesday. But we'll go through the rest of the weekend in the 80s. Monday, 85. Tuesday, cold fronts moving through, 75. is going to be our high temperature. And if you think that's crazy, check out Wednesday, 61 for the high temperature. I can't believe it, but it's coming. Again, we have that cold front expected to move through. Could bring some rainfall. One of our models showing some patchy areas of rain. And again, this is for Halloween, so not going to be the best weather for trick-or-treating if this comes to fruition. Other models are showing us just mostly cloudy, but again, that cold front is going to be moving through, bringing us some rain chances over the next 5 days, but that's really going to be affecting us come Tuesday. So just be aware of that. Hey, Halloween might see some showers there, but still a couple of days out. We can fine tune the forecast between now and then, but I mean, really check out the 7-day. Between Monday and Wednesday's high temperatures, there's a 24, if I'm doing my math right, 24-degree difference between the highs, and that is less than or right at 48 hours. So crazy temperature change. I hope that you like roller coasters, Richard, because we're on one.
Some really cold air moving our way. Emily, thanks so much. Going to give you a live look tonight at I-20 where more road work is happening at the state line. In fact, the right lane is going to be closed on I-20. This is eastbound from the Riverwatch Parkway exit all the way across the Savannah River Bridge. They're laying those final few beams for the new eastbound bridge over the river. That work should wrap up by 8 o'clock in the morning, but heads up if you're heading over the state line tonight. They're going to be sleeping a lot easier tonight in Maine. After a 2-day manhunt, the suspect wanted in that mass shooting that killed 18 people has been found dead. They found Robert Card's body near a river in some woods near Lewiston. Earlier today, law enforcement searched for the suspect in the woods. They sent diving teams in the river with sonar. Maine's governor had this to say a little while ago.
Move forward on what will be a long and difficult road to healing, but we will heal together.
One woman says her brother and 14-year-old son are among the victims shot in the bowling alley.
Can't even go bowling. You can't even go have a drink at a bar or enjoy a meal with your family without fear.
So tonight's development is welcome news. It will not bring those loved ones back. And earlier today, the names of all the victims were read aloud, followed by a moment of silence there in Lewiston. Jefferson County deputies say they need help finding an inmate who escaped while working on a road scraping crew today. Authorities say Richard Sawyer Jr. was last seen driving a piece of equipment like the one you see there on Dukes and Kendron Road in Bartow around 12:30 this afternoon. So a large piece of equipment he was on. Law enforcement was looking for Sawyer this afternoon. They say he should be considered dangerous. He's serving time for multiple offenses, including possession of a firearm. If you see him, call authorities. Tonight, families at the Augusta apartment complex are recovering after a fire there last night. One family lost a dog in the fire at the Highlands on Walden Drive, but everybody was able to get out. Wrdw spoke with a neighbor about what they saw.
No one expected a fire. No one expected a fire.
People either rush out of their homes or rush to get home once they heard the news.
I didn't know what was going on all the way home, and then I got here and it was like 6 fire trucks in front of the building. We couldn't get close to the building. I couldn't find my dog at first, but then I found him. And then after that, it was just waiting for them to tell me if my house was okay, if I could go back inside, or if everybody was okay.
Fire caused damage to almost the entire building.
The neighbor directly next to them, there's water everywhere in her apartment and black soot and smoke everywhere. This neighbor right here, it's like the fire jumped to their unit because they chopped their ceiling down. So upstairs, the ceiling is down in the back bedroom and the bathroom.
Her son has asthma and can't even stay in their home because of the damage and smoke.
Black soot all over the walls, the bathroom, the toilet, the floors, my couch, my bed.
Even so, they're counting their blessings.
Through the grace of God, everybody got out of the house except for one of their dogs. And their children had to experience that, standing out here and, wondering, where will I live? What are we going to do? I have to go to school, so when will I get my clothes and everything? They're gone.
They're thinking of their neighbors and trying to figure out what to do next.
I just really feel bad for them and their family.
Grateful for what they have while they deal with the loss. In Augusta, Wrdw on your side.
Neighbors say it might have been an electrical fire and the dog that did die was hiding somewhere when the family ran out of their apartment. Trial starts Monday for a man charged in a Columbia County rape and robbery. Authorities say Damian Evans went into the King Spa in Martinez back in 2016 and shoved an employee to the ground, causing her to lose consciousness. Evans is also accused of sexually assaulting an employee before stealing a few $100s and leaving. He was out on bond for years while waiting for the trial, but last August, prosecutors revoked Evans' bond and arrested him. Fort Gordon is now officially Fort Eisenhower tonight. There was a big renaming ceremony there, Georgia Avenue in downtown North Augusta. And we have some other Halloween weekend events to tell you about tomorrow. The Kroc Center hosting a fall festival with a trunk-or-treat event and a touch a truck and more. That's from 10 to 1. In downtown Augusta, trick-or-treating on Broad Street at businesses between 9th and 12th Streets from 5 until 7 in the evening. And the Richmond County Sheriff's Office hosting a Halloween drive-through from 6 until 8. In Aiken, there's a trunk-or-treat event with face painting and games and more. That's at Citizens Park from 3 to 6. The U.S. Coast Guard calling off that search for 3 fishermen who went missing off the coast of Georgia. We're going to hear from the family of a fisherman and look at what comes next in the search. But first, as we head for a break, a live look at Charlotte tonight and your winning lottery numbers.
Celebrating 30 years with Richard Rogers. Happy 30th anniversary, Richard. Honey. Wow.
Augusta's best luxury dealer, Jim Hudson, now brings you the best GM brand, Cadillac, the best of the best. Now open, Jim Hudson Cadillac on Washington Road. And right now, during the Made to Move sales event, get 2.9% financing plus $1,500 purchase allowance or payments from $379 a month. Cadillacs, over 60 available, 2.9% or $379 a month at Jim Hudson Cadillac on Washington Road.
Experience it once, and you'll never forget it.
What makes the Icox Law Firm different?
For starters, we've served this community for over 45 years.
And we know that every client is unique.
We consider you friends, neighbors, and family.
We prove it in the way we fight tirelessly for your justice.
Let the Icox Law Firm fight for the justice you deserve.
Tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard has suspended that search for the boat with 3 crew members who went missing last week off the coast of Georgia. The 3 were reported missing last Wednesday when they did not return from a fishing trip off the coast of Brunswick. They left last Saturday to fish about 80 miles off the coast. Family members of the 3 say they are not giving up hope finding them.
We're not giving up. We're not. If there are people that have planes and boats, we'll take every resource, anything that we can do to try to get individual private people searching. We need a miracle. We need a miracle.
The family of one of the men has set up a GoFundMe account to use that for money to hire outside sources to help with this search. The Coast Guard says they searched more than 94,000 square miles over the span of a week. Tonight, the Purpose Center in Augusta hosting its last event of the year. The center helps give kids a safe place to go for a couple of hours every 4th Friday of the month, teaches them to stay positive. Tonight, they held a fall festival where they gave them free clothing, haircuts, and allowed them to play some games and win some prizes. They also learned about the different seasons.
We teach them about fall and the different seasons, and we let them know that it equates sometimes to life. You may fall sometime, but you can get back up just like the leaves fall off and they grow right back. The colors change on it. You will go through different seasons and colors in your life, but fall is not the end.
The Purpose Center is on Olive Road. Its program starts again in January. Tomorrow's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, and some local law enforcement and pharmacies are taking part. It allows you to collect, destroy, and throw out those medications the right way instead of winding up in our water system. Those drop-off points include the Richmond and Columbia County Sheriff's Offices, some CVS pharmacies. It goes from 10 until 2, and we do have a list of drop-off locations for you on the website, wrdw.com. The McDuffie County School District announcing its 2020 its new Teacher of the Year. Last night, Thompson High School's Dottie Thomas was selected out of 6 recipients. She went to Thompson High School herself and went on to graduate from Georgia. She teaches honors math. Congratulations to Miss Thomas in McDuffie County. In Grovetown, it is the Wood family. They just won this year's Spooktacular Halloween Home Contest. They are on a roll because last year they won the happiest holiday home contest. They'll be getting a yard sign and a giant cauldron of candy for Halloween. So congratulations to the Woods. We can't wait to see it all lit up at night. Looks great over that way. 4 local softball teams competing in Columbus right now in the high school state championship today. Dan Booth is back with those highlights next in sports.
On air and online, News 12's First Alert Traffic Network is sponsored by Mountaineer Pest Services. Protect your home at StopMyBugs.com.
The lottery is not.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
The GHSA Softball State Tournament has been wild to say the least, and 4 of our local teams hit the diamond on Friday with hopes of making their respective state championship games on Saturday. News 12's Alyssa Lyons breaks it all down for us from Columbus.
We've made it to day 3 of the GHSA State Softball Tournament, and at this point it is either keep surviving or go home trying. With one last shot at staying alive in the GHSA tournament, ECI season came to a close against Wilcox. They go home 6-4. Harlem took game 1 of the afternoon 6-0 against Morgan County. A little sweet revenge on the Dogs that took the region championship out from underneath them. Moving through the bracket, they faced Gordon Lee next, and it was a Freaky Friday situation. Harlem couldn't get anything working for them and was on the bad side of errors early on. Another storybook season comes to a close in Columbus, 9-0. Glasscock County moving their way through the bracket against Georgia Military. In Game 1, pitcher Grace Kelly had 9 strikeouts. The only scorer of the game came in the top of the 3rd and in the Panthers' favor. They met Wilcox in Game 2, where Kelly was just as stellar, picking up 10 more Ks on the day. They walked away with more insurance this game, blanking Wilcox and setting them up for 1 game from the final Saturday. Who they'll meet in the opposite dugout will be Washington. The Lady Tigers hit a roadblock against Lanier, losing 7-0. But if you ask these two teams, that's just how the road to state goes. It's never promised, and it sure is unpredictable.
We kind of figured out from the jump that we would eventually meet up with Glasscock because I know they're a good team and we're a great team also. So we knew we would be meeting up with them, but we're ready for it.
Being a fight back win 2 today is huge for us. We've always had confidence in ourselves, and it was just getting going again. That game this morning was tough. So was that one. They're all tough up here, but see looks in their faces. It's huge.
This is the furthest that the Panthers have ever made it in the tournament. It all goes down on Saturday at 11. In Columbus, Alyssa Lyons on your side.
Time and temp, brought to you by Better Movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about SkyRisen today. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Augusta's best luxury dealer, Jim Hudson, now brings you the best GM brand Cadillac. The best of the best, now open. Jim Hudson Cadillac on Washington Road. Cadillac Luxury is now at Jim Hudson in Augusta. Get the area's best customer experience and Cadillac service. Now you can service your Cadillac at an authorized Cadillac dealer in Augusta. Now open. Jim Hudson Cadillac on Washington Road.
Experience it once, and you'll never forget it.
One thing I love about the CSRA, we're people who don't back down. And that's the attitude you need after a car accident. It's a threat to your health, it's a struggle for your family, and it's a battle with insurance companies that are not on your side. That's why people call me the Augusta guy, because after an accident, you need a law firm that won't back down. Injured? Call Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy. 706-724-7224. 706-724-7224.
See crystals.
It's that time of year to binge watch those scary movies, but not too scary for the kids in your life. There's a new study looking at the best kid-friendly movies, and so here we go. Hocus Pocus lands at number 1. Second is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Third is Beetlejuice. Number 4, Ghostbusters. Number 5, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Some of those newer than others, but a great list right there, I think.
And the second that we get into the holiday season, Harry Potter comes into mind for
Harry
me.
Potter is another good one right there.
When we get into the holiday season.
Listen, I'm always thinking about Harry Potter, don't get me wrong.
No, I was about to say, are we not in the holidays? We're getting close.
We might as well be.
I hear
Charlie
you.
Brown, that's just a classic, isn't it? When that cartoon comes on, you hear the music.
Oh, yeah.
That puts you in the fall mood right there.
Big Pumpkin.
One movie that I'm glad that they didn't have on the list
What's
was
that?
Monster House. scary.
Really?
It's a cartoon.
Is this your 12-year-old self telling us this?
Yes, and my 24-year-old self, because it's still scary.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a kids movie. I
Let's
don't mess
avoid
with
that
it. Yeah, that one is definitely scary there. Want to take one last look at the forecast. It's a roller coaster. We're going to be in the 80s for the next 3-4 days. Then we'll be in the 70s come Halloween. Going to see a chance of rain, though, unfortunately. And then once we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, highs in the 60s. But, hey, check out the lows in the 30s.
Oh, my.
It's definitely going to be a cold start to the month of November.
And an 80% chance it won't rain on Halloween.
There you go.
Am I right? I think I'm right. That's going to wrap things up for News 1211. Let's be optimistic. Thanks for watching on a Friday night. Be sure to join us again for News 12 this weekend.